Once upon a time is how I would start this poem if I weren't a perfectionist. When I was a little girl is how I would start this poem if I weren't afraid of your judgment. To my fellow so-called perfectionists is how I would start this poem if I weren't forced into rethinking and reworking each typeface, sentence pace, right down to where the period should be placed. You see, I spent most of my childhood wanting to be a daydreamer. You know, one of those kids that can just close their eyes and be whisked away by a horse made of cotton balls that smelled like pumpkin pie, to a world of their own creation, where the limits are dictated solely by the reaches of their imagination. But instead, I spent hours curling my knees into my chest so that the stitches of jean patches and zippers appeared on my palms pressed firmly into the carpet as my sanity was set at a 27 out of 30 on a third grade spelling test being all it would take to unravel me. The cords loosen until I collapse in a pile of mangled strings. But I never forget that perseverance is key. And yet we insist on the continuation of perfection, living as a projection of a world of complication and rejection that's now festered into a creation that insists on plaguing me. The warning signs were clear, but too often we choose not to see. 1. You may be a perfectionist if you have mastered the art of procrastination, trying to maintain a golden mean by not letting your feather glue and cardboard wings take you so high that the sun might scorch the tips of a forgotten breakthrough, nor force you to fall to the depths of the deep blue. 2. You found yourself staring at your reflection in the mirror while your shaking fingers delicately trace the imprints of a spiral notebook's metallic spine on your face after staying up until 3 a.m. carving answers to tomorrow's test in your arm. 3. Falling asleep with the lights on, radio blaring your favorite song because you're afraid of what silence and serenity feels like. Because you're afraid that the darkness will unleash a world rife with uncomfortable intensities. You see, being a perfectionist is hard because although we reach for the stars, all we grab onto is fear and intensity. It's become clear that society doesn't want perfection. It's just all we allow it to hear. Happily ever after is how I would end this poem if I weren't a perfectionist. But now I've grown up is how I would end this poem if it were true. To my fellow so-called perfectionists, I end this poem thinking of you.